In a world often defined by outward appearances, the story of Staff Sergeant Thaddeus Novotny and his wife, Adrienne, seemed to embody the ideal of military life: honor, commitment, and sacrifice. Yet beneath the surface, a storm was brewing that would unravel everything they held dear, leading to a tragic ending that shook the tight-knit military community. This is the tale of betrayal, revenge, and the chilling consequences of a marriage torn apart by deceit. A story that asks us, how far can one go when pushed to the edge? And what happens when the perfect facade begins to crack? A picture-perfect life. At 32, Thaddeus Novotny had earned the respect of his peers as a model Marine. His career was nothing short of exemplary, with deployments, commendations, and the unwavering trust of his fellow soldiers. His wife, Adrienne, was a successful real estate agent in San Diego, specializing in helping military families find homes. Their life together was the stuff of dreams. At least, it seemed so from the outside. They met at a beachside coffee shop, a chance encounter that blossomed into a whirlwind romance. Their love story mirrored that of many military couples, separated by deployments, yet united in their shared strength and ambitions. They were a team, each supporting the other through the rigorous demands of military life. Their bond was unshakable, or so Thad believed. The beginning of doubt. 3 months into Thad's 4th deployment, cracks began to form in their relationship. During routine video calls with Adrienne, subtle changes in her behavior caught his attention: new hairstyles, different clothing, and an increasing reluctance to maintain regular communication. At first, Thad dismissed these signs as mere adjustments to the rigors of deployment. But as his doubts grew, so did the evidence. A fellow Marine's wife, Raquel Winters, approached Thad with concerns about Adrienne's frequent visits to an upscale gym, Apex Fitness, where she was seen spending excessive time with its owner, Preston Blackwood, a former college athlete with a growing social media following. Thad brushed off these warnings at first, but the seed of suspicion had been planted. When he accessed their shared cloud storage one restless night, Thad uncovered the truth. Adrienne had been involved in an affair with Preston. The messages were damning, detailing rendezvous at luxury hotels and private meetings, all orchestrated around Thad's deployment schedule. The plan of revenge. Thad's reaction was one of quiet resolve. Rather than confront Adrienne immediately or file for divorce, he decided to make her infidelity public on his terms. He began meticulously collecting evidence: screenshots of texts, security camera footage, and receipts. He crafted a carefully planned narrative, knowing that the moment of revelation would come when he returned home. For the remaining months of his deployment, Thad transformed. Once a sociable leader, he became withdrawn, obsessing over his plan. In his journal, he detailed the emotional toll this betrayal took on him, but also his determination to hold Adrienne accountable for her actions. He began practicing videography, preparing to document the surprise he would spring on her upon his return. The return and the surprise. On June 15, 2023, Thad returned home to a hero's welcome, a scene that would later feel grotesquely ironic. Adrienne had decorated their home with welcome banners and flags, a facade of normalcy masking the destruction that lay beneath. The next morning, Thad began his calculated reveal. He set up a camera in their living room, asking Adrienne to wear a blindfold for a special surprise. What followed was a moment that would be immortalized in a viral video, one that exposed Adrienne's betrayal to the world. Thad handed her signs, each one detailing her affair in increasingly humiliating terms, each sign a public record of her actions. As the blindfold came off, Adrienne's face transitioned from excitement to confusion, and finally to horror. Thad calmly filmed the entire confrontation, the evidence of her infidelity on full display for anyone who cared to look. The video, lasting just over 7 minutes, would change the lives of everyone involved. The viral fallout. The video of Thad's public revelation spread like wildfire. Within hours, it had gone viral, first within the military community and then far beyond. Adrienne's life, once filled with carefully curated images of happiness and success, was now marred by a tidal wave of humiliation. Her career as a real estate agent crumbled. Her social media accounts flooded with condemnation. Preston Blackwood, the fitness trainer, quickly distanced himself from the situation, apologizing publicly for his role in the affair. But the damage was done, and Adrienne's life spiraled further into chaos. Her emotional state deteriorated rapidly as she became obsessed with the video, watching it over and over again, analyzing her every word and action. Adrienne's descent. Adrienne's behavior grew more erratic. Neighbors reported hearing her scream in the middle of the night, arguing with herself. She began drinking heavily, her home filled with empty wine bottles. Surveillance footage caught her defacing Preston's car with graffiti and engaging in increasingly aggressive acts. Her obsession with Thad and Raquel intensified. She tracked their movements, made anonymous calls, and even attempted to confront Raquel at a local commissary. As Adrienne's fixation grew, so did her sense of injustice. In her mind, the world had conspired against her, and she was determined to reclaim control. The final chapter. As the months passed, Adrienne's psychological state continued to deteriorate. She attempted to confront Thad multiple times, and her behavior became more dangerous. She enrolled in combat training, purchased tactical gear, and practiced with knives. The final straw came when she discovered Thad had been selected for a promotion and that Raquel was planning a celebration in his honor. In her journal, Adrienne's final entry was chilling in its clarity. He gets to ruin my life and then gets promoted. She gets my husband and gets to play the supportive new girlfriend. They think the story is over, but I'm going to write the final chapter myself. On October 3, 2023, Adrienne made her final move. The murder. Thad and Raquel were returning to his apartment late in the evening after a Marine Corps birthday ball planning committee meeting. At 11:23 p.m., Adrienne, violating her restraining order, approached the apartment carrying a manila envelope filled with photos, texts, and altered images meant to further accuse Thad of infidelity. What followed was a violent confrontation that ended in Thad's tragic death. Adrienne, armed with one of Thad's own knives, fatally wounded him, the final blow severing his carotid artery. Raquel, in a desperate attempt to save Thad, performed CPR, but it was futile. Thad was pronounced dead at 12:17 a.m. on October 4, 2023. The aftermath. In the days following Thad's death, Adrienne was found in a catatonic state, still clutching the bloody knife. Investigators uncovered evidence of her meticulous planning, including surveillance footage, burner phones, and a disturbing war room in her garage where she had tracked Thad's movements and rehearsed the murder. The community was shaken. The Marines, who had once seen Thad as a model leader, now stood in silence, united by grief and disbelief. The case sparked conversations about infidelity, revenge, and the psychological toll of public shaming, especially within military families. Justice and reflection. In the courtroom, Adrienne's defense team argued for second-degree murder, citing her psychological deterioration and the viral humiliation as mitigating factors. Despite her actions, the court ultimately ruled in her favor, but the true cost of her actions extended far beyond the legal judgment. Thad's legacy as a devoted Marine was forever tainted by the tragic turn his life had taken. His sacrifice, both on the battlefield and in his marriage, became a symbol of the complexities and dangers of military life. His death left behind a community forever changed and a family shattered by betrayal. Don't miss the next shocking twist. Woman goes missing from her birthday party and her body later found in a suitcase. Hit subscribe now to be the first to know, and stay tuned for more unbelievable stories. In the wake of the tragedy, the military community struggled to come to terms with the events that had unfolded. As news of Thad's death and Adrienne's premeditated actions spread, questions arose. What drives a person to such extremes? And how do we reconcile the devastating consequences of betrayal in a world that often demands unyielding loyalty? This case remains a haunting reminder of the fragility of trust, the depth of human emotion, and the tragic outcomes that can arise when the line between love and revenge becomes blurred.